healing from childhood trauma, sometimes it feels like you'll never get better. Let me start by saying that feeling this way once in a while is normal. When you're working on healing and find that day-to-day life continuously points out more situations that are triggering, it's really not unusual to feel like you just can't catch a break. I felt like that in my own journey. But there's something else I want to point out here. Maybe the reason you're getting discouraged is because your healing is happening in the wrong order. Let me explain what I mean. The most disturbing part of complex PTSD for me was the constant experience of emotional flashbacks, nightmares, anxiety, uncontrollable negative thoughts, dissociation, and emotional numbing. I just couldn't stay present in the moment because there was something constantly that sent me into one of those states. That's just the nature of complex PTSD. If that's happening to you, it isn't because you aren't smart enough or because you aren't doing the work right. It's often because you haven't learned the first tools that come before the real healing can take place. You see, when we have a lifetime of stress, including dealing with neglect, abuse, and the emotional symptoms that stay in our bodies as a result of those experiences, our threshold for healing stress becomes very, very small. That means when regular life stress shows up, you don't have the bandwidth to deal with it, much less additional and ongoing CPTSD triggers that cause our real-time brains to go offline. So what about when we want to heal our childhood trauma? Well, there are some people out in the complex PTSD culture who say that it can't be done. We can't really heal, and anyone who says we can just adds to the trauma by making us feel bad about ourselves by suggesting that we can. Let me just say that that logic makes sense unless there really is a way to heal. Many of us try to do the work while our bodies still have really little room for dealing with extra stressors. Then when you add on top therapy techniques that add stress instead of helping you feel better quickly, that threshold gets even smaller and we wonder what's wrong with us. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. It's the system and an archaic mental health profession where many therapists still believe that healing has to hurt. I'd like you to consider something different. Let's think about getting really focused on first increasing your body's ability to tolerate stress. How do we do that? Well, it starts with a 15-minute daily routine that will help you become more aware of just how often you're in the pre-triggered, ready for fight or flight state. It also supports your ability to notice when you're in the ready for fight or flight state and calm your body. It works because of consistent practice that increases your awareness and your control. Then, once you've increased your ability to reduce reactivity to stress in your body, your awareness increases. That's when the next step comes in. And the next step is noticing your triggered responses, identifying what caused them, and what thoughts lead to disconnection from your body, feeling afraid when you know there's nothing to be afraid about, that foggy, numbed out feeling in your head, and constantly feeling on edge. But nobody can heal and get out of that hypersensitive to triggers place when the body's already on hyper alert. I've created the trauma erase method, keeping in mind the logical progression of calm the trauma brain, reduce hyperreactivity to stress in the body, and then moving into healing one triggered response at a time. This way, you don't ever have to wonder where you are in the process or why you felt stuck trying to heal before. I've also created a detailed map of what the healing journey looks like for you so that you can understand more of how it works and how the trauma erase method allows you to heal in a way that makes sense without overwhelm or introducing extra pain into the process and calling it treatment. The link to that is in the description below. I'd also like to encourage you to consider joining me and seeing how the trauma erase method can make a difference for you. I'm in the group twice per week answering your questions, and we have a growing community of people supporting each other on this journey. And you don't have to quit therapy. many people have found that this is an amazing adjunct to therapy. That link is in the description too. Finally, the 15-minute daily routine that I think will make a difference for you is right here on this video. You don't have to do this alone. Healing is possible, and I'm here to help you do that. I'm Tamara, the therapist that's been there. You can do this.